Welcome to Furry Judgments with mikegolden Games and Tryetout. Hope you guys are having a
Hello.
great day so far. Hello, hello. So if you want to tell them what we are going to be discussing in this, this is going to be our first episode for the Furry Judgments podcast.
Yeah, so we decided it'd be a good idea. We've heard other podcasts in the past. I'm an avid podcast listener, and I thoroughly enjoy like the ones that are like, "Am I the asshole?" Because they like to sit down and discuss like these people who like tell stories about themselves and like, am I like they do something and they ask like subreddit or they ask their friends like, was I the asshole for doing this? Like, was I in the wrong here? And so we actually decided that we wanted to create a podcast as well where we sit down and we discuss like, am I the asshole? Like, if we sit there and especially like a furry edition, we need a lot of furries. We're gonna get a lot of furries to like submit their comments and stuff on us, so that way, or their am I the asshole stories. That way we can see. We're gonna give our perspectives. We'll each give our own personal perspectives here regarding whether or not these people were assholes and if they were in the wrong for the things that they wanted to do. So with that, let's go ahead and kick it off with our first topic of discussion here. So one of the people that we had submit a thing to us asked us, "Am I the asshole for making people think I'm interested in them, but just to make myself feel better when I'm really not interested in them at all?" So he wrote in. He said that basically what he does is he pretends that he's interested in single individuals because it helps boost his ego, and he does it just to make himself feel better, but really he's not interested at all. So Mike, what do you think about that? What's your perspective on that?
Definitely sounds like that is them being an asshole. That's what I think. Very common in VRChat as well, or at least the furry community. At
I
least what
agree.
I've noticed.
No, I can definitely agree with that one. I can agree with that one a lot. I mean, I've seen it plenty of times. I mean, my perspective is I don't know. It's an interesting idea. So he on one end of the spectrum, the man's literally just does it because he or she wants to boost their ego, and they in the wrong? Is it necessarily the wrong? Because when it comes down to it, a lot of people on VR chat or a lot of people in the furry fandom, the way they interact is they go straight. A lot of people interact by going straight to like lewd stuff or straight to being like interested in the person like right away. Like you've seen it plenty of times. Like people make jokes about it all the time on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, or literally I like you meet somebody and you think that you're being friendly towards them and then they fall in love with you within 10 seconds. So I mean, is he necessarily in the wrong? He does get a thrill out of it, so that's an interesting concept. Is that he gets a thrill out of the idea of being chased by the people, and that's definitely where you are an asshole. Like you should not contribute. You're contributing to the problem, in my opinion. Like the problem is that people just get attached way too quickly, and they just hop onto this idea of like, oh, this guy is perfect, this guy's the one, and then they jump right into the idea of I already want to be in a relationship with this man, and then they just hop right onto the train of, yeah, I like him, I'm interested, he's cute. They don't even take the time to get to know what the person looks like or their personality or anything like that. So I mean, that's where they're in the wrong. That's where a lot of people are in the wrong. And I'm gonna get a lot of shit from furries about that one. Let me tell you, they're gonna be like, no, you're full of shit, blah blah blah. No, I don't think so.
It happens way too often. It really
It
does.
does happen way too often. It happens a lot. But I think the main problem is that is he an asshole per se for just that's a good question. Like that's where I'm a little bit conflicted because is he an asshole per se because he's taking advantage of the fact that somebody just is super interested in him, but is it his fault necessarily that they're interested in him? Like if did he just join into a world and then somebody immediately got interested in them? And to feel better about himself, to feel better about his personality, about his image, about his, like his self conscious thought that he literally has to just go along with it and say like, hey, um, like if he pursues him, like, hey, you're cute too, blah blah blah. Because that's another thing too. If you'll notice when furries interact with each other, they literally will go based off of like the issue is like, oh, you're cute, and then it gets conflicting because one person's like telling somebody they're cute because like, oh, like I like you, you're super cute looking. The other person's just saying it as a general, like furries say you're cute all the time. Like they go around just constantly saying you're cute. So that's another problem. Like, is somebody just taking off the fact that he's saying like, "Oh, you're cute," or is it because like it's a difficult concept. It's something that would have to be like further examined because like you're walking around telling everybody they're cute all the time, and you don't actually mean it because you're just like, "Oh, your avatar is really cute," but I don't think you're cute because like another a form of language is compliments. A form of love language is compliments. When you compliment individuals significantly, it portrays the idea of interest in an individual and the idea of being interested in someone. Like if I go around telling, if I was a regular person, not a furry, and I walked out onto a street and I told a girl she looked really cute today, that's me showing interest in that girl. That's not me saying like, I don't go around to every single girl on the street or every single boy on the street and say, "Hey, you look cute today." Like that's another issue that we face is like terminology like that is that it's another thing that portrays interest is another thing that can be confused as portraying interest as portraying desire in someone. It's constantly telling someone how cute they are, how adorable they look. If I as an average person, I walked onto the street and I just saw someone and I was like, "Oh, you look adorable today," to a woman, that can be portrayed as showing interest in an individual, not as a I don't go around to every woman on the street saying, I might say, "Oh, you look very nice today," or "You look very pretty," but I don't say, "Oh, you look very cute today. You look very adorable today." I just wanna boop your snoot. Like you don't go around to the average individual and say shit like that. Let me tell you. So there's some lines that have to be examined. Is he an asshole? Yeah, I would say personally, yeah, he's an asshole. But is it necessarily entirely his fault? That's where you gotta like draw the line. Like you gotta figure it out because yes, he's taking advantage of these people who are like jumping into the ship of I'm already interested, he's so cute, blah blah blah. But is he just full on taking advantage of them? Is he saying like is he leading them on to the point where it's like extremes where they've fallen in love with the individual and they think that it's a relationship, but it ends up not being a relationship? I mean, that's some things you got to examine because sometimes people I've known people that have taken it too far. And I think you have as well. We've known a few people who have taken it too far that have been in the same position and have taken it way too far to where somebody thought that they were in a relationship with this person when really they were not in a relationship at all. And I think both of us have actually been in that situation before, if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
I know I've been in that situation. I don't know if you've been in that situation.
Oh yeah, no,
But
definitely. And like I said, I know countless people that have gone through the same thing as well. Like it's a really prominent thing in the furry fandom, and yes, it happens way too often.
and that's something that should be like further discussed. That's not what we're doing though. We're just telling people assholes. That's what we do here. We say you're an asshole. We're not gonna go through and do the studies. I'm not doing the psychological studies on the effect of that's too much work. I don't have time in my life for that. I have time to sit down and call somebody an asshole and examine their life, but I don't have time to go do the psychological study of why they're an asshole. So I'm clearing that up right now. This show is not about psychological studies of why people are assholes. This is just our personal opinions. We're sitting down. We're listening to some interesting stories. We're gonna read some interesting stories from people. We're gonna get some background on some individuals, and then we're gonna give our takes. We're also gonna be going through and doing subreddits as well. We want to look through subreddits. We want to go through normal people lives. We want to go through furry lives, and we want to go through normal people lives. We want to give the normal people lives our furry perspective on if they're an asshole or not. Because you know what's interesting? There's actually been a few times that we've done this game with coworkers too, or my coworkers, where we've sat down, we've listened to Am I the Asshole podcast, and they went through and they read the subreddit, and then what normal people think, like, oh, you're an asshole for that. I had a different perspective. I was just like, you know what, as someone who's been in the furry fandom, I've had a chance to experience a different perspective. I think a completely different side of the situation. So you'll find that a lot of the times you'll have conflicting views with normal individuals who don't view things the same way that furries view things because we've had the chance to experience a lot more openness because we have to be more open with things, not just with like sexuality but with like our perspective of life and stuff like that. We're a lot more open. We're a lot more LGBTQI friendly. We're a lot more like weird friendly. We're a lot more uwu friendly. Like we've got a lot more open. Not to say open mindedness, because I can't say that an individual is more open minded, but we've gotten a more experience in things that are outside the norm, things that are abnormal, as opposed to someone who just lives an everyday life, who gets up, goes to work, and then comes home and goes to the bar and drinks a little bit. And that's not to say that people aren't weird, because they definitely have some freaky fetishes out there in the world. But that's it. That's just it's a little bit different what we do versus what they do. So I think it'd be an interesting concept to just go through like subreddit and look at some normies perspectives on am I the asshole, and then give our personal take on it. So yeah, with that one, you want me to read the next topic, and then I've been talking for like 30 minutes. I'm gonna go drink water. No, I haven't really been talking for 30 minutes. I
About
over exaggerate
about 10 minutes.
I over exaggerate like the hell out of some stuff. So that'll happen a lot. But that being said, we can hop on to the next topic here and go over that next topic. And I'm gonna have Mike talk for a little bit on this one. Because this is actually I'm gonna have a long talk on this one. I'm gonna have a huge perspective on this one. But I'm curious what your perspective is on this one.
Yeah.
So the next one is, am I the asshole for dating multiple people at once to keep my options open and available?
That is, it depends on the people and the people you're dating. Some people it's perfectly fine with, which, I've come to see in the furry fandom happens way more often than outside the fandom, I would say. Me personally, though, I would not think that's a good idea, because that's how people get hurt. And I guess that's probably one reason why there's so much discord inside the furry fandom. There's always drama going on. This person did that, that person did that, and yeah, there's always drama. It's not fun sometimes. But overall, the community is an amazing place. Everybody is, like we were saying, is open, and everybody's open minded and really welcoming towards each other. But with that, like I said, yeah, there's a lot of drama that comes with that as well. You wanna?
Oh, you want me to give my take on this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some more from you.
Let me get a sip of water.
Okay. Well, while you're getting a sip of water, I'm gonna say why this one was so interesting. This one was so interesting because this is my am I the asshole? I submitted this one. This is my am I the asshole? Um, so there's a few people who they're gonna see this and they're gonna get a good laugh out of it, because they know just they know the past story of me. They know the origin stories. They know the background, the lore. There's some people out there that'll understand the lore of Tryetout. And that being said, one of the things I'll go and I'll explain this a little bit further. That's one of the things we like. If you guys are gonna submit "Am I the asshole" stories to us, we want like detail. We want heavy detail so we can go dive into this. Like,
Send that through the Discord server as well. Or
send the Discord. Yeah, yep. Yeah. If you're gonna send us topics of "Am I the asshole," like your personal stories, we won't call you out. I will. If it's me, I don't give a shit. I will announce it. I'll be like, this is my story. I'll own that shit. But that being said, yeah, no. So this is my "Am I the asshole?" So I'm gonna give you guys the background of this one. So, for about before COVID hit, for the longest time, I was dating one individual at a time, and I would date these individuals for long periods of time, and just to get my hopes up, to get involved in the relationship, to get very very into it, in depth in this relationship, and I would commit to this person fully. And the problem is the more that I would commit, the more it would scare them away. And it's not like it was a short period of time. Like, I was dating people for like years to 2 years to like it was like long periods of time with commitment. And the more I would commit to these people, I would find that the more the individuals in the furry fandom would get like further and further pushed away. And I would be shocked by this, because I was like, we've been dating for like a year, we've been dating for like a year and a half. Like, isn't it time to like start talking about options, like moving in together, stuff like that. And I know people have different perspectives on like when you should move in, stuff like that. Like, that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is like the more individuals I would date for long periods of time, the more I would notice that furries, as soon as things would start to get serious, furries would cut and run. I had an individual that I was dating for about 9 months. It was long distance, and we discussed moving in together. And we were supposed to move in together with after we had been dating for a year, but we were discussing the options. And I came down to visit him, and so we tried living together for a full weekend, and it was actually a little bit longer than we did. It was about a week. We just to see how things would go, and we were planning on doing more of these tests before we actually moved in together. And I started getting things set up for this move because I didn't want to be like, okay, I'm ready for this move, and then not have anything set up. I wanted to be all put together. And then I went to move in with this individual, and like at the very last second, everything fell apart. He freaked out, cut and ran. Basically said like, I don't think we should move in together yet. Blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And it was already at that point. It was too late for me because at my job I had already put in for a transfer to another location, and I had already put in my in order to do a transfer for the place I was working for. I actually had to quit my location so that way I could be put into another location. So I already put my 2 weeks in, and I was already like everything was put together. I already had the place picked out to move into and all this other stuff, and it just all fell apart at the last second. And Mans literally decided to cut and run at the last second, and then we ended up breaking up after a while. And then I moved on to the next person, and it happened again and again and again. And I found the more that I dated one person for long periods of times, the more I would just get the same result every single time. And so I got to the point where I got sick and tired of it. And I call it my dark period. I call it my dark ages because I literally hit a point where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Why waste my time focusing on one individual when I could literally just come together and date multiple guys at once? And if one of them cuts and runs, who the hell cares? I've got like 20 more waiting in the wings that I'm talking to that I can look forward to moving forward with. And if I find someone that's the one, then I can move forward with this one, and then I can just like cut things off with the other guys. And in my mind at the time, I wasn't the asshole. Everybody else was the asshole. And I have a few people that would still back me up on that one because they go through the same things that I went through. And I have people who have literally like, you know what, I'm doing what you did. I'm gonna try dating like 20 guys at once and let's see what happens. And I'm like, okay, yep. Good luck with that one. It's you gotta make sure you keep all their details because you don't want to mix up guys. It gets complicated. Um, but no, there was a time that I was dating about 30 guys at once. I was dating about 30 guys at once, and then a few of them were in person, a few of them were long distance. Um, some of them knew about the others, some of them did not. So I guess my perspective is am I the asshole? What would you say about that one? Would you say that I'm I the asshole about that? And it's fine. I'm not gonna hold this against you because I've been called every name in the book for it, so it's fine. I'm curious if from your perspective, would I be the asshole? I'll admit I'm the asshole. All day long. I will admit that I'm the asshole for that. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm the only one at fault for. I don't feel like I'm the one contributing to the problem. I feel like I found my own solution to the problem. And then I actually got into an argument with someone about this because they were like, "You're the problem. You're contributing to the problem." I was like, "Am I the problem? Am I the problem? Because all I'm doing is I'm dating multiple people at once. And if things start to progress and things get serious, and I feel like this is the one, I'll let the others know and I'll cut things off. But if things don't go anywhere, why waste my time focusing on one individual when every single time I get the same result? Somebody cuts and runs when things start to get serious because they get scared. Furries have commitment issues. I will not back down from that statement. I know so many people who would agree with that. Furries have serious commitment issues. And when it comes to getting to serious, like they're just like, I'm not ready to settle down yet. I know someone who was in his like 30s, his late 30s, and he wasn't ready to settle down yet. I was like, man, you're gonna break your hip. Like, normal people are having kids right now, right? Like This is settle down time. This is not like time to ramp up. This is time to settle down. What do you mean you're not ready to settle down yet? And I mean that's fair. Everybody has their own perspective, but like when you like lead people on into the idea like, oh, I can have a relationship, and then like when things start to get serious, you're like, I'm not ready to settle down yet. That kind of just destroys the individual, and like the more it keeps happening over and over and over again, you start to think like, am I the problem? What's going on here? Is it me? When really it's not. It's the other individuals who are just not ready to fully commit, and then they make you think that they're ready to commit, and then when you get time to being serious, then they cut and run, and you're just left there on your own, like wondering what the hell just happened. So, like with my perspective, I'm 100% the asshole, but I'm not the entire problem. I don't contribute. I don't contribute to the problem. It's my way of finding my own solution to the problem that I constantly experience. But your take. I cut you off for like another 30 minutes there. I was rambling on, but
No. You're good. You're good. Um, yeah, I mean, it's a really complicated situation just for the fact, like I was saying before, with the furry fandom, it is such a prominent thing that occurs in the fandom. So it's really been normalized. Really, that's this thing. It's been normalized in the fandom. So for somebody outside the fandom, it is completely, I would say, wrong. But being in the fandom for a few years, you see this happen time and time again. So yeah, no, you wouldn't be fully in the wrong for that. It's still, not the best thing to do if the other people don't know that you're dating other people. So, I mean, I would say that's the biggest thing is if you are going to date others, you should let them know the situation and that you're seeing other people too. What was that?
nothing.
No, I heard something. What was that?
Nothing. I just said, don't listen to him. Don't tell them. If you go around telling them that you're dating, you aren't gonna be able to date like 30 guys at once. You're not gonna be able to date 30 guys at once. You can't. If you go around telling all of them like, oh, I've got another, yeah, the only time you tell them is at the end when they decide to cut and run, and then you know what? That's fine. I've got 29 other guys waiting for me, so you just go ahead and leave.
I mean, that is a good point. I mean, like you said, you've gone through it time and time again. They always seem to cut and run. And it's a moral issue, I would say, but it's a big gray area, I guess.
It is a big gray area. That's true, and that's what our job is. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be diving into the gray areas. We're going to be delving into them pretty deep.
Which also we want to get your guys' feedback as well. What is your opinion? Let us know in the live chat, or if this will go up on YouTube most likely tomorrow. So, if you don't see us live here on Twitch, you can go over to the YouTube page, same name, Mike Golden Games, and, let us know in the comment section over there.
Yes, let me know, am I the asshole? I won't deny I'm the asshole, but I'm also going to deny that I'm not entirely the problem, that there's other people that are the problem, and I found my own personal solution. However, I will not deny that I'm the asshole. I will 100%.
I guess we could circle back to the first topic. There was that one person, they made me think we were dating for about 2 weeks or so. And then, basically out of nowhere, they're like, oh, what? No. I just thought, we were really good friends. That's all I wanted. I just wanted us to be friends. Well, come to find out from like 10 other people, that exact same thing happened to them by this same person. So I don't know. It's just full circle type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. It is a full circle because furries are all assholes. That's what our solution is. Furries are all assholes.
Yeah. Yes. Should we switch sides? Hunting season.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's didn't we talk about doing that?
We did. We're supposed to do that as a TikTok.
We're supposed to do that as a TikTok. Yeah. We haven't done that yet. That's a upcoming TikTok.
But if you see that before us, they stole it from here because we did come up with that idea and we were going to record that later this weekend.
That is true. You heard it here first. We were recording that.
Hello, everybody in the live chat. By the way, we got Reddington, we got Kendall, and we got Snowy. What's up, Snowy the Floof? Hello. Anyways, let's get back to the topic.
No, I'm curious. Is anybody in the chat? Is anybody in the chat right now asking or making comments?
No, Snowy the Floof just booped us. Boop.
Okay, well, Snow, you're part of the problem. You're making me think that you're making me. If you punch my headset, okay. By the way, in case you're wondering, we are dating. We are in the same room right now. We're actually literally maybe a foot length apart.
I have not
My
I
apologies.
have not made an update video since the last update video in was it November, I believe. Basically, yeah, I moved back to Chicago. Here, let me switch cameras here. I moved back to Chicago, and I'm like, you know what? I made a mistake. I need to go back to Texas. So about a month and a half later or so, I moved back to Texas. So this is, I guess, the announcement for that. But I should still make a full-on announcement video.
Still make a video, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I am back in Texas, and we are here in person. Hello.
Hello.
So yeah. Anyways, anybody have any comments they want to make? Well, I have.
Yeah, let's see. Let's Snowy. We want to hear your comments. Snowy, you've known us a while. You've known Mike a lot longer than you know me. You and I don't know if you remember. You were drinking that night, but you and I met a long time ago before I met you through Mike. You and I met through Otterwolf. You joined into one of his parties when I was hanging out with him one time. So there was that time that we met up. But other than that, no, like I think you were streaming too, or maybe it was somebody else. I think that was streaming, but somebody was streaming when they joined in, and they were just kind of chilling, being chilling,
Bing,
uh, being chilling. But no, Snowy. If you well, we'll move on to the next topic. But Snowy, you should definitely give your opinions because I'm curious from your perspective. Like, am I the asshole, or are other people the asshole for doing the things that they do?
I would say repeat the question.
The question. Okay, so this is in case you weren't here for it, Snowy. The am I the asshole question for this one was am I the asshole for dating multiple people at once to keep my options open and available? And that was me. That's my personal am I the asshole? That's what I've contributed. And I'm not gonna be contributing anything else because I'm lazy as shit and I don't have time. But that's my contribution. I've made a contribution. So
Yes.
So yeah, that's the am I the asshole? Because I was dating at one point in my life. I was dating 30 guys at once, and a few of them knew about it. A few of them didn't know. Um, but it was more along the lines of just trying to find the right guy quicker. Is what my justification for it was due to how I had been treated by previous relationships of spending so much time, investing so much time. 2 years in one relationship, I was engaged to an individual, and there was another relationship that was about a year, and they just like I invest so much time in this one person, and then it all goes south, and I'm just like I'm not getting any younger here. I'm trying to find the forever one. Like, do I just keep doing this same old song and dance where it's like every single day I hope that they don't break up with me. I date this one individual. I date them for a long period of time, and eventually they're gonna dump me, and then I move on to the next guy and the next guy, one at a time and then I finally just hit a point where I was like, nah, I'm just gonna date as many guys as I want all at one time, and if things start to get serious and they look good, then I'm just gonna cut one off, or I'll cut the others off, and then I'll focus on this one. But until things start to get serious, I'm gonna go on dates. I'm gonna go date multiple people, and I think that's kind of normal too. I think normal people they go on multiple dates. They go date multiple people. They go to singles mixers. They try like talking to multiple people. They try seeing how things go.
Yeah.
Not to the extent that I did it though. Let me tell you, mine was a bit more extreme than a normal person. But that being said, in a way, it was what I was doing was dating multiple people at once, just kind of getting a feel for the relationship, seeing how things were gonna go. I did not do that to you. I did not do that to you. Oh, I stole this coffee. Yeah, no. When we started dating, we were the only people that were dating. I wasn't dating anybody else at the time. Because I had just gotten out of that serious relationship like a couple months earlier. And hadn't been in a relationship with anybody else. By the way, another relationship that was dating 30 guys at once, and I thought, oh, this is the one. So I dropped the other guys and then just focused on this one. Didn't last long. That one only lasted a couple weeks. Um, yeah, that one only lasted a couple weeks, and I was like, "You son of a bitch! You made me waste all 29 other guys. I dropped them for you, and then boom, then you dropped me. Maybe he knew. Maybe he knew I was dating other guys, so he got me to drop the other guys.
Maybe he was doing the same thing you were doing.
Maybe he was. I feel like I'd like to think that maybe he was like a Robin Hood or something, like rescuing the other boys because I had them I had them caged for myself, and he wanted to rescue them. Be free! I will distract him so you can be free. All right. So while Snowy's giving us his opinion on whether or not I'm an asshole, by the way, don't be afraid to call me an asshole.
Snowy said, yes, that's normal.
That's normal. It is normal. It's 100% normal. But that's not the question, Snowy. Not the question of is it normal? Is it am I an asshole for doing it? The answer is yes. If it's anything other than yes, you're lying to yourself. I'm an asshole for doing it. But was I wrong for doing it? Because let me tell you right now, I feel like I was justified. I was an asshole, but I was a justified asshole. I like being a justified asshole.
Also, that's a great show.
Justified, it is a great show. Maybe they'll sponsor us. We should tag them and then
Yes.
go to post it on TikTok and YouTube. I definitely would sleep with Timothy Oliphant. Even in his age of 50 or whatever age he is with the gray hair, man's still fine as wine. Let me tell you. Okay. Anyways, so let's pull up the third one. Let's Snowy, give us a in-depth perspective. We want you to go in depth. Like, give us some background. What's the thought process there? While you're doing that, we're gonna read the next topic of "Am I the asshole?" So this person asked, "Am I the asshole for breaking up with someone by saying I'm busy and then inviting them to a party I'm hosting to stay friends with them?" I almost misread that for a second. There was some typos in there. Furries aren't the best for their grammar either. Let me tell you that. Right? There was a bunch of typos when that person sent me that, and I was reading that. I almost had an aneurysm because there was a lot of stuff. Okay, so what's your perspective? So this person writes in basically what happened was this person was dating this other person, and they were dating for a while, and then all of a sudden one of them decided that they didn't want to date anymore. So he broke up with the individual, but he still wanted to stay friends. So he broke up with him by saying he was too busy and for a relationship, but he'd like to still stay friends. So he invited him to a party that he was hosting. Is he an asshole for doing that?
I mean, I guess it depends on the situation, but in that context, no, I wouldn't think so.
No, no more in-depth discussion on that.
I haven't had my coffee. Okay, I need my coffee. I haven't had coffee.
You're gonna make me do all the talking. You better go get me a jug of water because I'm gonna run out of.
Here's my water. You need some water?
I put a bottle of water in the freezer. I'm gonna go grab that afterwards.
Let's say the question one more time and let me really think about it.
Okay, so I'll give you time to think about it. I'll discuss it. So the question was, this person asked, "Am I the asshole for breaking up with someone by saying I'm too busy for a relationship, but then I still wanted to stay friends, so I invited them to a party that I'm hosting just so that way we can stay friends." So while you're thinking about that one, while you're thinking it through, here's my perspective on that one. So if in my perspective, yes, you're an asshole because if you tell someone that you're too busy for a relationship, but then you turn around and you invite them out to do something or something like that, especially if you're hosting a party, you're basically saying, I don't have time for a relationship with you, but I have time to throw a party. I have time to go on a trip. I have time to go to cons. But I have a busy life, so I don't have time for a relationship, and I don't have time to dedicate to you. And you gotta wonder, like, so you have time to throw a party, you have time to go on all these trips to conventions and stuff like this. By the way, this is a person that I know, so I'm cutting into him pretty deep here. But yeah, if you have time to go on vacation, if you have time to go on, because this individual didn't just like invite him to a party. He was all over Twitter going on vacation, and he did multiple vacations. He did one to Florida. He did one to New York for his birthday. He did one to all these other places. And you gotta wonder, like, you don't have time for a relationship, but you have time to go to all these places. You have time to throw parties and invite this individual. Like, I can see where this individual would be upset that you're breaking up with them, saying you don't have time, but you have time to do all this other stuff. You have time to go to parties. You have time to go to like on a trip on a trip that's not even business related. Um, so yeah, in my opinion, you're the asshole. And I don't know what your
I
perspective
mean,
is.
my perspective is no, they aren't the asshole. It's being in a relationship. You have to be in a certain headspace or mindset. And it sounds like with that person, they just wanted to be more of a lone wolf, do their own thing. They still wanted to be friends. So, they invited them to the party. But personally, no, I think that's perfectly fine.
Mm, mm. And there's gonna be some interesting stuff too. We're gonna have some differing opinions because in his mind space, obviously he thinks like, oh, it's they're not in the asshole, and I can agree with that. Like I can see there is differences in like where people are at space wise. But that being said, this individual had been single for the past, I think he had told me it was like the past 6 years. And he started talking to this person, and they were in a relationship for about like 6 months. And then he just decided that he didn't want to be in the relationship, that he wanted to be single, and he wanted to go do this stuff. And he told him that he was too busy for a relationship. So like at that point, it's like it's kind of an insult. You just gotta come and rip the band-aid off, man. Just be like, hey, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Not like, oh, I'm too busy for a relationship. Like that's what I told him. I was like,
Okay.
you gotta rip
Okay.
the
I mean, I
band-aid
guess
off,
when you put
man.
it
You
that
can't.
way, yeah, I mean, they just couldn't say it straight, I guess.
But my issue too is why were they looking for a relationship in the first place? If they had been single for the past like 4 or 6 years, I don't remember what it was exactly, so I don't want you to quote me on how much time it was. But they've been single for the past 4 or 6 years or so, and they were looking for a relationship. They're starting to get into their 30s. They're ready to start settling down eventually. Um, but they wanted to basically they wanted to like experiment and test things out, and I guess
Right.
they either weren't feeling this relationship or what happened with that one. But their excuse to the person for breaking up with them was they were too busy for a relationship. And you just gotta rip the band-aid off. You gotta say, look, I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to be single. You telling them that you're too busy for a relationship, and then they go on and they see you on Twitter or on TikTok doing conventions or going to like week-long vacations, one right after the other, because the man's literally went to New York for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later went to Florida for 2 weeks for just a house party. And it's like I got to feel for the other guy because you're just sitting there, and if he looks on Twitter or he looks and he sees this other guy's just going on vacations left and right, how is that too busy for a relationship? How are you too busy for a relationship if all you're doing is going out and partying all the time or going out and doing this and that? Like you're not too busy for a relationship. You just don't want to be in a relationship.
Well, and I mean, I think that's the same thing. That's the way they told the person they didn't want to be in a relationship. They wanted to, do their own thing, not be tied down to
Yeah,
anybody, and just
but
party.
that's not what they did though. That's not what they did. They said that they didn't want to be in a relationship because they were too busy.
Okay, but they said they don't want to be in a relationship, so I don't
But
really
because
see
they
the
were too
issue.
busy. It's not because they're too busy. How are you too busy?
Because a relationship takes time away from doing those things, and they wanted to focus more on those things than the relationship. It makes sense.
Not if they were gonna do those things together.
But that's the thing. I guess they just didn't want to do those things together.
And that's the point. So it's not that he was too busy, he just didn't want to be in the relationship.
Right. And I mean, like I said, it's the way he cut it off. Is that the best way to do it? I don't know.
No, definitely not. Yeah,
What
because
does
the
what
way
does the viewers think?
Yeah, what do the viewers think? Because the way he cut it off was literally like, "Hey, I don't have time for a relationship, but I'm throwing a party this weekend. Do you want to come? Do you want to come hang out at this party, with me and get to know people?" It's like, hold up, wait a minute. You don't have time for a relationship, but you're gonna invite this dude to a party that you're throwing? How do you not have time for a relationship, but you have time to throw a party?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I really don't see anything wrong with
That's fair. Like we said, difference in opinions, um, which is gonna happen. I'm sure we're gonna come across a few things where we're just gonna say like, I think he's the asshole, and he's. I mean, that's the point of this is to sit down and discuss and just figure out like is he the asshole and just get the viewer's perspective on it. Like, what do you guys think? Is this dude an asshole for like leading this guy on for a few months, thinking that they're going to be in a relationship, and then just suddenly changing his mind, being like, "Hey, I don't want to be in a relationship now. I want to go." Because that goes back around to like this dude was invested in the relationship, things were starting to get serious, and this other one is just cutting and running because things are starting to get serious, and he doesn't want to be in a serious relationship. That's more contributing to the problem that we discussed in the previous things, where like this dude's just literally cutting and running because he wants to go out and be with other individuals and stuff like that, as opposed to getting serious with someone.
Yeah. We got Snowy. He said maybe he wanted to let him down easy. A lot of people don't know how to express themselves. Astaroth said, "I say some people think they're not mentally prepared for relationships." Very good answers.
Okay, but if you're not mentally prepared for a relationship, why would you enter into one in the first place? See, that's another issue. Are you an asshole going into a relationship not being mentally prepared and ready for a relationship where this other individual is? So you go into this relationship not mentally prepared for it. Are you the asshole? I think you're an asshole if you're going to go into a relationship not mentally prepared for a relationship, but then the other individual is ready for commitment and ready to be in a full-time relationship, and you walk in and just say, you know what, I gave it a shot, but it's not working for me because this other person's like they're focusing on end goals, they're focusing on what they want for their future, and then you just come in acting like you're going to be something that's a part of their future, knowing well that you're not going to be a part of it, and then just turning around and walking out. And that just to me that just contributes back to the problem of furries just cutting and running when things start to get serious.
I mean, that's true too, and it really depends on how long the relationship goes on. How invested were both people? Like how long was it going on?
That one was about 6 months.
Okay. I mean, it's not super long, but it's also not short either.
It's
So,
not a short period of time either. Yeah,
yeah,
like to me, that's like 6 months that this guy wasted investing into a relationship, and this dude just cuts and runs.
yeah,
That's a lot of time. That's like half of a year right there. That's you only got so much time on this planet, and if you waste it, that's another reason why I did 30 guys at once, because I hit that point where I was like, you've only got so much time on this planet. You could die tomorrow, and you never know when your last day is gonna be. I'm one of those people where you gotta live every day like it's your last day, because you never know if tomorrow's gonna be your last day. And if I go in just dating one guy at a time and they break up with me, especially if I dated some dude and he broke up with me after 6 months and then said like, "Hey, I thought I was ready for a relationship, but I want to party and stuff," and he's like 30 years old or like 40 years old, I'm gonna be like, "What the hell is this? Like, why?" Like, I understand wanting to party, I understand this and that, but like, if you break up with somebody because you think that the relationship takes up into your partying time and stuff like that, like you're gonna be well into your like 40s or 50s, and like at that point, I can tell you as someone who is in his late 20s, there is not a lot of single people left in our age group. And the older you get, the less people are single in your age group. So you have to start looking younger, and it really gets bad when you look younger. Because I dated a few younger. That was part of the 30, and younger are literally only in it because they want the thrill of the relationship. They're not looking for commitment. I can tell you that right now. Younger people do not ever look for commitment. They look straight for the thrill of the relationship, and then they move on.
yeah. I can agree with that. I've seen that countless times in this fandom too.
Too much, way too much. Younger people, you're the problem. The younger people, you're the fucking problem. You're the asshole. I'm not the asshole. I changed my mind. I'm circling back around to my topic. I'm not the asshole. Younger people are the asshole. Let me go get my beauty cream so I can be younger and then I can be the asshole. All right. So that's what we had for furry ones. Let me go open up the Reddit. So I have the Reddit
Yeah,
up.
we're at 44 minutes currently.
Oh, good shit. Good shit. See, I told you.
Let's see. And starts says shit happened. It is a lot of time. Snowy says. So Snowy says 6 months is a long time.
See, 6 months is a long time. It really is a long time of your life. That's half of a year of your life that you committed to this person, and then they kind of backed out and just said, "You know what? I'd rather party than be in a relationship with you." And then you turn around, they walk out the door because they didn't have enough time to party, And it's like, man, you're like I get the whole need for partying, but to lead someone on for 6 months just to turn around and decide you don't want to be in a relationship with them because it cuts into your partying time.
True.
But anyways, yeah. We that's a good one. That was a good one, and we will circle back to that. I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of YouTube comments about that one, especially with us having conflicting views with each other. You're gonna have a lot of your viewers are gonna hate you. No, I'm just kidding. They're gonna be like, "Wow, Mike, I thought I thought you had a different perspective in life."
Astaroth said, "Some people say that type of shit just because they're only interested about the loot stuff." Dennis said, "What is the theme?" You
Am
talking
I
like
the
what topic
asshole?
we're on?
No, he's asking what's the whole theme of the podcast. The podcast is we're two furries. We're discussing some stories that we've heard, and that's what we're going to be doing. Is we're going to be gathering stories from real life people, people we know, personal people. We're going to be getting some personal stories from people. We're going to get some stories from viewers, from Mike's viewers. And we're going to be getting some stories from Reddit as well. We want to go get some IRL, non-furry, normie people's perspectives on life as well. But it's basically just, am I the asshole? We want to sit down and we want to discuss. We're going to get people to submit topics to us. We're going to look, we're going to read through them. We're going to discuss them in person. And we're going to kind of just like debate about whether or not this person's the asshole. We're going to give our perspectives on it, our life perspective. If it helps any, I have a degree in criminal justice and criminology and criminal psychology. So if anybody's like, I want to murder my wife, I'll tell you right now, you're a fucking asshole. But we got different backgrounds too. We got different upbringings. I think we bring different perspectives too to Am I the Asshole because we've grown up in different backgrounds, different lifestyles, different teachings. We got different education systems. I mean, we have a whole different perspective and a different outlook on life, on how things are because the way we grew up and stuff like that too. Because you weren't an only child, I was an only child, but I grew up in parts of like the ghetto and then grew up in like nice neighborhoods, whereas you were in nice places and then you went down to like the suburban areas, the more like rural suburban areas.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've had some different upbringings as well. And then I have education and background in criminal justice, criminology, criminal psychology. I've worked as a debt collection paralegal. I've worked as an EMT, so I've had the whole caring aspect. I've had the uncaring aspect. I've been an asshole before for a job. Like I've been a loving, caring, compassionate person as a job. Like and then you've had a different experience as well. You've had different upbringings. You've had like you were an only child. You have a sister. You have a different upbringing and you're raised the area you were raised at, and you've had different experiences in life and different jobs and stuff like that. So we both have different outlooks on things. Like I said, we're gonna disagree on some things, and we're gonna agree on things. We're gonna disagree on some stuff. But the main theme is we're just gonna kind of sit down and discuss and analyze and get people's opinions too, because we're curious about what everybody else's opinion is too. Like, is this person an asshole? And speaking of which, I think you're really gonna like this one I found on Reddit. I grabbed it just for you.
Okay.
So if we did we get any more questions about that?
We got Dennis. They asked, sounds interesting. What is the opinion from both a furry and furry hater?
Furry and furry hater. Well, that would be an interesting. We could bring a guest. We could bring a guest on the show one time. Someone who hates furries,
I've got an
debate
idea
with
of
them.
somebody. I've got an idea.
Oh, I've got quite a few people that hate furries. So we could bring some people on. That's a good idea. So we could bring on some furry haters and kind of debate with them, see what their outtake is on things. Because we planned on having guests on the show. This is just our first one, so we just wanted to kind of get down and like see how things flow and how everything goes. And then eventually we're gonna be bringing on guests. We're gonna be bringing on other TikTokers and YouTubers that we know. We'll be bringing on other normal people who are not inside of the furry fandom that we know. But I had never really thought about the perspective of like a furry hater. Like I know people who are non-furries, but who are appreciative of the furry fandom. But I've never thought about actually bringing on somebody who hates furries to discuss with us. So that's actually a good idea. I like Dennis's thought process. It's sitting
Not
down.
sure if we should do that as a live stream though.
No. I think we can find somebody who's civil. I know some people who are civil that hate the furry fandom, but would be willing to sit down and discuss things with us and just kind of get each other's perspectives. Because there's people out there who aren't necessarily just like straight up. They're not haters, but they have a displeasure with the fandom. They don't necessarily understand things how we understand things, and are kind of distasteful about what we do, but aren't necessarily bad people who would never just say like threaten to kill us and stuff like that. So I know a few people who are like that. So we can get some people like that on the show, who would sit down and talk with us and give their personal opinions as opposed to what ours.
Yeah.
That'd be a good idea. We may sit down and we may discuss some material to do a show like that. So that's a good idea, Dennis. Good thought process. All right.
All right. So you had one more.
I do have one more. Does anybody else in the comment section before I start this last one?
Let's see. We got Franco Gamer. What's going on? Thank you for joining. Hello, friend. How are you? I'm doing good. Greetings to you, like cookies. Do a magic trick for you. So they're not actually asking the question.
I'll do a magic trick for you with that banana. Look, I made it disappear already. All right. So let's dive into the last question. So the last one, I saw this one on the subreddit. I immediately said this is a good one for Mike. Okay, so this one asks, am I the asshole for making my daughter delete her YouTube channel because she posted embarrassing videos of her brother? My daughter is 17 years old and she started a YouTube channel some time ago where she would post get ready with me and makeup tutorials and stuff, most of which I'm ridiculously unaware of, so I didn't pay much attention to what she was doing. She enjoyed it and it didn't pull her grades down, so I thought it was fine. Recently, a friend sent me one of the videos saying I might want to look at it. She'd filmed my younger son tripping and falling down the stairs, and to be fair, it was pretty funny. Okay, there we go. I was almost started laughing when I read that. To be fair, it was pretty funny, but also completely unacceptable to put online. I didn't know she was posting our family on YouTube, so I checked out her channel, and a lot of her videos are about her two brothers. Some are innocent enough, but some are basically making fun of them in embarrassing clips I'm sure they didn't know were being filmed. I told her I'm very disappointed and I want her to delete the channel. She got upset and said she almost had 1,000 subscribers and then she can make money from it. She said she won't post her family anymore, but I feel she's already broken trust with this. Am I the asshole? Oh, she said also, I realized I didn't include this in the original one. The reason I said she's broken trust already is because she started the channel. I said there's all sorts of nonsense on YouTube, and I support her making a channel if she wants. But the rule is she can only post things she wouldn't mind me and my wife seeing. And I think it's pretty clear that we would have minded this.
Yeah, I mean, I would say no. They're not the asshole for that. I mean, technically, they can tell her what to do because she is under 18. She is under their household, and she has to live by their rules. And she was also kind of invasive or invading privacy. If her brothers didn't know she was recording it and posting it, so that, in a sense, could be something illegal too. So I would say no, they're not the asshole.
Oh, I'm biting my finger right now because I'm just trying not to laugh thinking about that bitch's brother rolling down the stairs and she's just filming him, not even helping him. And she's maybe at the top of the stairs saying, hey, Timmy, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot, he's fine.
Damn. Yeah.
I would go with yeah. I think I'm gonna go with yeah. I think that she should be entitled to post content like that. I mean, she is a minor inside of a household and it is filming without permission. However, I think that's the majority of what content is online these days. As long as she doesn't give away any personal information of the two individuals, I think it's hilarious that she filmed her brother falling down the stairs. I would have laughed. I probably would have liked the video. I can't sit there and say like I'm not gonna lie. I'll admit 100% if I watch somebody's brother falling down the stairs. I've seen it before. We've all seen it before. We've seen the videos of someone rolling down the stairs or like I mean there's the fail army videos. Now those are submitted. Those are submitted by individuals, but this being said, like you watch somebody falling down the stairs or hurting themselves, you always get a good laugh out of it or a good ooh reaction. So I gotta say I gotta go with the yeah you're an asshole because I mean there's always the option of telling them to take down the videos that were in violation of the trust,
That's true too.
and
They could
then
have
she
just taken
could
down those specific
they
videos.
could have just taken down the videos, not the whole channel. Like you're demanding. I understand that she broke your trust, but was there really anything? Was there any really thing that broke the trust to begin with? Because you say like, oh, we made it very clear that we don't want videos that we. But in my mind, if I'm not a teenage girl, but or a parent, but in my mind, if somebody told me I don't want you posting videos of yourself online that we wouldn't approve of, that's immediately pornography and nudity and stuff like that. You're telling me don't be in a bikini shaking it for the boys. Not I can't film my little brother falling down the stairs because he's kind of not all there in the head and he rolls down the stairs. He's not coordinated with his body. He's a little uncoordinated and he fell down the stairs. Like I don't, that's not. I don't think that I'm a bad person for recording something funny that happened. I mean, it's hilarious. I'm gonna post it. That's what the internet does.
True.
That's what they do. But like if you told me specifically, like I don't feel like I'm violating your trust. If you told me not to post things you don't want to see you don't want to see of me online, because that's just telling me you don't want me doing pornography and stuff like that. You don't care if Timmy falls down into a well and I record it, as long as I help Timmy out of the well afterwards. Especially if it's gonna make me famous. Like I guarantee you, if this girl had made a ton of money off that video, her parents wouldn't have been reacting the way that they did.
True.
Because they'd have been like, you know what, sweetie, Timmy just made us a couple $1,000. You can keep the video of him falling down the stairs up. Timmy, next we're gonna trip you with the hose, or we're gonna hit you with the frying pan to see how many views we can get. Like as soon as it takes off, the parents have a completely different perspective. Like I'm not saying that these people would, but I'm just saying like the average person, if their shit goes viral, they're not gonna complain about it. They're only complaining about it because little Timmy fell down the stairs and they didn't make any money off of Timmy falling down the stairs. They just had other. They had other. It was probably the soccer moms noticed, and they told the parents. They're like, "Hey, little Timmy's not all there. He fell down the stairs. What's going on there?" And Sarah pushed him down the stairs. Methinks like and then they're like, "Oh great, now we look like we're an uncoordinated family. So this looks great." They're more upset about the soccer moms and the PTA moms giving them shit because Timmy fell down the stairs and there was no safety precautions put in play than they are upset about the fact that little Timmy fell down the stairs. They care more about what other people see of them than they do. At least that's my perspective. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you're the asshole. We should submit that on the Reddit. Yeah, let's submit this video. Yeah, you're the asshole. You're the asshole. Let Timmy fall down the stairs. Let Sarah push Timmy down the stairs. She wants to make money. It's a job. It's an economy. It's a career path, mom.
Yes.
Sarah's got goals, and Timmy's part of those goals.
We are coming up on 1 hour.
That's good. That's good. I told you. His concern was is I wouldn't be able to make this last an hour. I can talk for hours. I run my mouth all damn day. I can talk people's ears off. So making this last an hour, that wasn't difficult. That's not a hard concept to do. It's just making sure we make it good quality content. That was a little bit off. That was a little bit off to the right there. You more of just drank your hand than you did drink the coffee mug. Yeah, you gotta put it in there. I was probably off too.
Yeah, these seats are little off because there is toggleable, seating, and it gets in the way sometimes.
So we may be in a new studio next week. Who knows? This is going to be a regular thing, by the way. I guess that's something that we failed to mention.
We did fail to mention.
We did fail to
This
mention.
is a new series we're doing every Saturday, and then it'll go up on every Sunday on YouTube
And then we're gonna do clips of it. Clips of just trying to advertise and get it out there. Just brief clips, funny clips on TikTok on Sundays as well. So those will be like TikToks that will be up there as well.
Yeah, I think that's about it for this one. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, and you know what else though? That being said, you guys need to definitely submit to us if you know any stories, if you have any personal stories, or if you know any stories. If you don't want us to like mention who you are or anything like that, make sure you tell us that because otherwise we might run our mouth. But I know some people are fully comfortable with me throwing throwing out things like, "Oh, I know this person," or "This is a personal friend of mine," or "Me personally, I'll admit that if I did it." Um, and I'm sure that Mike will too. Um, but that being said, like if you let us know if you have a story or you know somebody but you don't want the information, give us a story. Tell us not to share the information about the individual, and we'll kind of come on here and we're gonna debate about it. We're gonna discuss about the nature of it and whether or not that individual was the asshole for doing it. And most of the time, I'm probably gonna call you an asshole because it's just fun to call people assholes. I mean, in my mind, like people are just assholes to begin with. Like today at work, I thought this lady that called in was gonna be the sweetest lady ever, and she turned out to be a bitch. I was 100% wrong. We made a joke about it. Like at first, I talked to her, and then after we got off the phone, I had to call her back later in the day, and we made a joke about it. I was like, "Watch me call this lady, and she's like a total bitch because she tried calling in, and my coworker was like, I don't want to answer it. I'm not doing it." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll answer it." And I didn't get to it. I was like, "I gotta call her back." And he's like, "I wouldn't." No, I was like, "No, she's a sweet lady. She's real nice." And then I was like, "Watch her be a total bitch. Watch me call her. Watch me call her back, and she's a total bitch." And I was right. I was joking, but I actually turned out to be right. She was a bitch. We canceled her shit. So we said, "You know what? You're a bitch," and then we canceled her shit.
Damn, nice. Yeah, Karens. Can't live with them. Can't live without
Can't live without him. That's where you get the most of your amusement, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
true.
Get some good stories from Karens. But yeah, if you guys have stories, definitely submit them into us on Mike's Discord, or you can send it to us on Telegram, either one of us, or send it to us on Discord. We'll sit down and we'll just discuss it. We might do like a quick read through, really quick, but for the most part, we're not going to know each other's answers. We didn't go into this knowing each other's answers or what they were going to say. We just read what the questions were going to be in advance, and then we just kind of like came in here and like talked about it live on the podcast. So we knew what the questions were, but we didn't know what each other's answers were going to be. We didn't know. So that's going to be another interaction. We're going to see how things are going to interact with each other, especially when we have guests on here and I just start cussing people out because I don't agree with them. So that's going to be interesting as well. I feel like we're going to have like one episode of like a Jerry Springer moment where security's going to come in and escort me out because I'm threatening to kill someone. Because I don't like their opinion. Anyways, but yeah, that's how that's gonna go. That's foreshadowing. That's happened. That's happened to me at least 3 times in Vegas. So I won't be surprised if it happens here. So you guys have that to look forward to as well. Yeah. You have any other final comments before we go? Any final closing statements?
Not really, other than be sure you follow us and yeah, join the Discord server. Come hang out with us there. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Oh yeah, see you guys in the next one.
We'll probably stream Helldivers next. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, I'd say that's another time that security has to escort me out is when I was cussing out Mike last night. If he only contributed a little bit more.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.